Afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to your conference, the Virtual Leadership Training Conference. And I'm so pleased that you're refocused on the development agenda as young people. My name is Dr. Deborah Hickling Gordon, and I'm really excited about being here with you. I'm from an organization called the Institute of Caribbean Studies from the University of the West Indies. And that's where we teach what we call cultural studies, and we teach also courses to do with the cultural and creative industries and the cultural economy. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today: culture, creativity, and performance. It's a cutting edge space, and we are really excited about the stuff that we do at the Institute of Caribbean Studies in cultural studies. So me, what do? I curate information about various aspects of culture. I work in media, I work in radio and television. I make presentations like this very regularly. And I work in the cultural economy. That's what we're talking about today, the cultural economy. I create content. I am literally a television and radio producer and presenter, or have been during my career. And I've listed all the things that I've done as a participant member of the cultural economy in Jamaica. I have worked in radio, in television, in theater. I've done business. I have a couple of businesses, and I'm involved in a number of businesses in culture and creativity. I've worked in government, and now I'm involved in the process of academics. So I'm teaching culture and teaching cultural and creative industries. And this is a range of activities that you have available to you once you get involved in culture and creative industries. So we're talking about this thing called the cultural economy. What is that? That is the system of production of creating goods and services in relation to cultural and creative activities. So what it means is that we create cultural goods and services. We produce, or we do the creativity part. We come up with the ideas. We work out what elements are going to be involved in cultural and creative industries, or cultural and creative products and services. We then produce them: music, theater, dance, drama, film, video games, all the various things that we know to be a part of the cultural and creative industries. We go through the process of producing them. So we have to figure out how to produce them, what's the most efficient way to produce them, what are some of the means by which people produce them, what do people need to produce them. Do you need a sound stage? Do you need a microphone? Do you need an artist? How do you put all the pieces together to create the cultural or creative content? These things that you use every day. And then we have to distribute it. We have to get it to the various people who use it. We have to ensure that we can get it on YouTube, or you can see it on TikTok, or you can, it's available on Twitter or so. Those are the things that we talk about when we talk about distribution, or it's sent out by WhatsApp or so. The circulation of content is what we call distribution. And then we have to ensure that everything is in place for you guys to consume it, for cultural and creative consumers to actually readily get all the things that fall under cultural and creative industries. And you young people are really the center of the creative economy, or the cultural and creative economy. Because, and we hear people talk about cultural economy or creative economy. We could spend all day talking about what the differences are. But today we want to talk about the importance of you as young people in the cultural and creative industries. You are participants in the cultural and creative industries naturally. You are on social media: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and some of you might do Facebook. Or the old foot like me will do Facebook from every now and then. But you're playing video games. You're certainly on your Nintendo and your Wii and your Xbox and your PlayStation and so on. And you are the people who are watching Netflix, and you are getting your content from off of social media. Some of you going to parties, or you did before COVID, and you're also downloading your music, and you're getting involved in all sorts of creative activities that makes you central to the cultural and creative industries. But in addition to which, you are creating content. We call this group of young people, Generation Z, the prosumers, because you are not only consuming cultural and creative products and services content, you're also producing cultural and creative content, and you do it every day. Sometimes you don't realize when you're doing it because it's so easy for you and it comes so naturally. So essentially that's what you do as a part of the cultural and creative industry. Some of you even make money doing it. Some of you do it as fun. For some of you it's just a pastime. But you are active participants in the cultural and creative industries. So today I want to say to you, if you're already naturally participating in the cultural and creative industries, why then don't you think about it from the perspective of development, from the perspective of making your nation better, from the perspective of doing things in ways that help our not only our nation, but our region, the Caribbean region, and our world to thrive and to exist in a better space. And that's what we talk about when we're talking about development. And today we're talking about cultural economy and development. So when we talk about the creative economy or the cultural economy, we're talking about an economic platform. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar global business. And you have an opportunity to be a part of that business. But you have to prepare yourself for it. So that's an important part of what we're going to talk about today. How you become a part of the creative economy, that multi-trillion-dollar business that people have said have grown. They said it's the people who have been studying the growth of cultural and creative industry said it's doubled. Yeah, and that it continues to grow. And cultural and creative industries is one of those sectors that grows even when there's a recession. We're still watching to see what is happening with COVID-19. The numbers we're still kind of trying to work through the numbers to see. We know that there has been a global contraction, and we know that, like, for example, when Christmas comes this year we're not going to be able to go to parties and get involved in those activities. We're going to see the economic impact. Because if people were spending money on buying food for parties or having people over, even if it's just domestically and not having major pay parties, we're talking about money that's no longer going to be spent in the economy. So even when we're involved in recreation, we're also involved in the process of growing our economy. It's productive work is being done, even in the production of events and activities and so on. And I say even because a lot of people don't think of it as work. Even globally, people don't sometimes think it's just recreation. But the global creative economy is, which is now grounded digitally, it depends very heavily on a digital platform. Is a critical economic driver. But those of us in Jamaica who are not necessarily counting or doing the appropriate research, we haven't done the appropriate research yet to be able to tell what the value is. We're not able to say in the way that we would want to that it's an important economic driver. But we're getting to that point. And in Jamaica, cultural and creative industries is a dynamic ecosystem. And we're going through what we call a renaissance. There's a lot more, there's more content being developed than any time before because it's so easy to do it. I can easily get up and make a video in a way that I needed 4 or 5 people to do it, even up to 10 years ago. Yeah, I can now just, kind of download or upload everything into my computer and manipulate it, and there you go, I've got a video. But previously, you needed so many people to, you needed an editor, you needed a videographer, you needed, you know, all various people. I'm sitting in my house right now with my computer, and I've made my slides and I've done everything, and I'm now presenting it to you. And I'm going to, the click of a button, I'm going to send it off to the library service, and you will be able to receive it. So this is how easy things have become. We now have more people who are better trained, and they are now understanding the business of cultural and creative industries. So we are going through a process of change, and it's good change. There are many, many things that are problematic about the cultural and creative industries. We're not going to talk about too many of them today, because that's not the forum. But it's important that we know about those too, because as young people, you are going to be the people who are going to be leading the next vanguard of change for cultural and creative industries, to ensure that the things that need to be fixed are fixed. All right, so these are the various areas in which you can work in the cultural and creative industries. The ones on the left, my left hand side of the screen speak to the main cultural and creative industries, and then the ones on the right hand side in white are the ones that are linkage industries and sectors that emerge out of the cultural and creative industries. But what I wanted to be able to, the point I wanted to make, the point I wanted to make is that cultural and creative industries has a wide variety of activities. Some of the things that you didn't even think were cultural and creative industries are actually cultural and creative industries. In addition to which, there are so many layers of jobs that are available within cultural and creative industries. You can see why it is a part of, it should be a bigger part of the economic growth framework that we're moving towards. If we're going to build the country, then we need to depend more heavily on cultural and creative industries. And if we're going to depend more heavily on cultural and creative industries, we need to be planning for cultural and creative industries in a different sort of way. When you think of the amount of work, even the Jamaica Library Service, there's the publishing, the writers, the editors, the proofreaders, just that process of publishing has so many layers of work embedded in it that you don't see. You see the book or you see the ebook, but you don't necessarily see all the things that are done in order to get it produced, get that book produced and published. So there are lots of jobs to be had in the cultural and creative industries. So if there's an area that you are interested in and want to be able to have a look at it, look closely, because we need more proficient professionals in cultural and creative industries. All right, and this is what we call creative work. All the various areas that you can work in: theater, drama, dance, film, publishing, the business, the digital areas. All of these areas are when you do productive work and you earn from these areas, it is called what we call creative work. And it's real work. There are lots of people who think it's not real work, and think that working in the entertainment sector is not real work, but it is. And there's a great deal of money to be made in terms of proficient work in the entertainment sector. We have a company, Main Event Limited, that is now listed on the Junior Stock Exchange, and that came out of somebody's brainchild, a gentleman by the name of Solomon Sharp. He just, he started working at a corporate entity, and he decided he wanted to have his own entertainment company. Might be a little impacted by the COVID now, but when it grew and when it got listed on the stock exchange, we were all so excited for him, because we knew that it meant that the entertainment sector was moving to a different level. And this is a part of the development framework that we're talking about, moving businesses to a different level. Event production, so that you have so many different types of events and people who are working in event type jobs. And this is a part of the economic framework. Now, like I said earlier, we are definitively going to see what the economic fallout is when we're not able to have so many of those events that we're accustomed to having for the Christmas season. We're really going to have a clear idea about what the economy will be lacking, the gap in the economy that's going to occur with when we don't have these events. This is the way that one way that we're going to be able to measure cultural and creative industries for 2021, and this is one of the impacts of the COVID situation. Music and performance, that's another area. Now, in music and performance, there's the issue of creating the music, and there's the issue of performing the music, but there's one other element that a lot of people don't think about. They don't necessarily think about that process to do with the writing of the music and the publishing of the music, and the means of inspiring people through the production of music. And so, for example, we have a long tradition in Jamaica of using our music to inspire people. When apartheid was being ended in the 1990s, a lot of people were saying that they were listening to the music of Bob Marley because it inspired them, and it was one of the things that made them feel, that revolutionary fervor that got them to move ahead. And we can use music, and we can use what we call converged music media, putting together music and film and design and dance and all of the elements, and create productions that inspire the world. That's a part of the development agenda too. Some of the things that we need to do to ensure that we are able to inspire the world about positive messaging, about freedom, and about issues to do with social justice, and all of the things that we believe strongly in. So it's not just about an economic proposition. It's about using the content that we are creating to to create a movement, or to fight for a cause, or to support a charity, or some of those areas that are, or to kind of show some of the great things that are coming out of your community. We need to be able to get back to a place where we're using this media, which is now so readily available to us, and we can create that content to be able to develop our communities, to develop our families, to develop our parishes, right up until we get to the region and the world, the nation, the region, and the world. The other thing that is really important about cultural and creative industries is the access to the digital economy. Cultural and creative industries are grounded in the digital economy. Without the digital economy, a lot of our monetization couldn't take place. A lot of our distribution couldn't take place. All of the stuff that you consume on social media, somebody produced it, and if it wasn't for social media, you wouldn't be receiving it, right? And there's so many new models that have come up now, so many ways that you can make money or spend money on the internet. It's an important part of the development agenda. But we need, I don't know if how many of you have seen the film on Netflix called the Social Dilemma, that speaks to how social media has changed over a period of time. We now need to be able to use social media in the way that it's using us, and start to create the content that is of a particular positive level, so that we are influencing those people around us in a positive way. And we need to be cognizant of it. I mean, we need to think it through. When we go on, and instead of going to bully somebody, or instead of liking it when somebody has been bullied, or circulating something that is negative, think about some way that you can use that tool, this tool that we call the digital economy, to be able to make a positive difference for the people around you. All right, now. This is a picture of Disney World, Walt Disney, and he was one of the people who has been able to tell us, he showed us by example how you can build an empire by creating content, and how you can spread positive messages by creating content. And it's not, and positive messages don't have to be boring. At the center of every Disney story is a positive, there's a positive negative twist. So you have the good versus evil, but usually good prevails, and you have all of those, the princesses who always kind of end up on the right side of the story. And this is a model that we must look to. that you can take a simple idea, a simple cartoon, Mickey Mouse, somebody just doodling and creating the mouse, and create an empire that is exponential. So much money is being made, but so many lives are also being touched. He made a couple of mistakes along the way, but it is a clear example of how we can use the process from idea to mega project. And these are some of the things that we must think about as we talk about development. Speaking of development, we're talking about advancement, evolution, change, positive economic change, and positive social change within an economy and a country. And that's what we want to use the cultural and creative industries to do, to advance our country. And that's why I know you'll have heard a lot today about the Sustainable Development Goals. These 17 goals that the world wants to be able to achieve by 2030. To eradicate poverty, to ensure that everybody has the same opportunities so there's no inequality, to ensure that there's peace and justice and the wars of the world and issues. But we need to bring that home. How can we use what we do in culture and creativity to be able to touch the hearts of those people who are in pain, who are hungry, whether problems of gender neutrality and people not understanding each other, touch the hearts of those people who are making those dastardly decisions, horrible decisions, to do things like, kill a grandmother and 2 children, I can't figure that out. But I know, what I do know is that within the cultural and creative industries, we have the tools. We do have the tools to be able to change that particular proposition. And that's what we're talking about. How to use the tools of cultural and creative industries to advance each one of these goals. And it is possible. It is absolutely possible. And maybe I challenge you all, young people, to think of a particular content product that you can create. Choose one goal from the Sustainable Development Goals and make that your pet project. And every day you create a piece of content that advances the agenda of that particular Sustainable Development Goal. And I trust you, and trust me, you're going to see how you will have made a difference just by communicating information. Do the research, find out what the issues are, and every day put out one small piece of content on that particular Sustainable Development Goal that is your pet project. All right. So young people, you are the link between development and modernity. Yes, you are the people who are pulling us into modernity. Right? You have the passion and the interest. You know the issues that are affecting you. You are the ones who have the energy. Like I tell you, I'm an old foot now. I leave it all to you. I tell you that when I teach at the University of the West Indies, in the Institute of Caribbean Studies, I'm building a new army, because there's a new army of cultural and creative practitioners who need to participate in the development of our nation through the cultural and creative industries. And that is what interests me. And it's about developing an ethical framework. It's about ensuring that we are clear about what our values and our attitudes are. And when we go to digital media, when we go to social media, when we go to other forms of even traditional media, that we are taking those ethics and values and attitudes, and those things that we are putting forward are the things that your grandmother will be proud of you, or your mother will be proud of you to see you doing that particular thing. Think twice, think about it, and then put that information forward. The development of content is a critical part of the development agenda. So there are lots of different ways that we can share. We can get to understand our culture. Our culture, there's so much to navigate. from Rastafari straight through to all of the various subgroups and revivalism and all of the subgroups that exist, the maroons that exist within our culture. So get to know some of those things. We have so many stories to tell, and they're your stories to tell. You have to tell those stories. Get to know our culture, and that's what we teach at the Institute of Caribbean Studies. We take an examination on all the things to do with our religious culture. We talk about food, we talk about festivals, we talk about fashion, we talk about music, and all of those things that make us who we are. And these are some of the things that exist at the core of your stories. And culture takes you so far and so wide into the rest of the world. And so it's not just our culture we're talking about. This pictorial talks to you about the culture of a country called Ghana. It's one of my favorite countries in the world, and one of my favorite cultures. And so I've spent a lot of time visiting these countries, and I've also spent a lot of time studying these countries. And you get an opportunity to do all of that when you study culture. There are other things that you can do. You can look at policy and planning. So you're planning for the future. You're creating a framework where you're able to determine what do you want your culture and creative industries and culture and creative economy to look like in the future. And you do the policy and planning. We teach you that too at the ICS. You need to join us there. We also speak about heritage tourism and all of the great wonders of the world that exist in heritage tourism, the history and culture. This is a picture of a museum in South Africa that I visited, where Nelson Mandela lived for many, many years. And the stories that come out that help to shape our culture. These are also part of the development process. And we need to think about how we are going to tell our stories, and how we're going to create museums, and how we're going to create, we're going to show the artifacts of our history in ways that will interest people and have them come, or interest ourselves, so that we can learn more about ourselves. And there are many ways that you can get involved in the cultural and creative industries. And the first thing I'm going to say to you is educate yourself. I've spoken a lot about the University of the West Indies, but to be honest, there are many other opportunities for education in cultural and creative industries. There's the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, and a number of other entities that have different programs. Go and find out what those programs are. Learn about cultural and creative industries and cultural and creative economy, with a view to determining how you find your little footprint. I tell you, my footprint took me through media. Other people have a footprint through music. Other people have a footprint through fashion, and anything that kind of makes you excited. You can turn that into real work and into the production of content and production of products and services of culture and creativity. But it can help you to further the agenda of your community. Join professional associations. There are lots of opportunities for grants. There's a lot of information to be had about cultural and creative industries. Go and do the research. You can become an entrepreneur, start your own business. But most of all, you can be a change maker. You can decide how you're going to use culture and creativity to make a difference, to advance development. Remember those sustainable development goals. Remember that this is what, ultimately, this is what we're trying to do, trying to make the world a better place, and how we can use culture and creativity to do just that. We can create intellectual property, which is another thing. We talk about creating value so that we can have products and services that are valuable. So before I leave, I just want to take you through some of the programs that we do at the Institute of Caribbean Studies up at the University of the West Indies, Mona, in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. We have 3 bachelors. For those of you who require a first degree, we have a bachelor's in entertainment, and cultural enterprise management. We have a bachelor's in cultural and creative industries, which looks at things to do with policy and many of the other various areas about the analysis of cultural and creative industries. And we have a third Bachelor of Arts called Music and Performing Studies, where we teach you about not only the creation of music, but the creation of music for things like animation, for other applications in the rest of the cultural and creative industries. So if you kind of know how to play a beat, or you know how to make a rhythm or something, then, and you're already doing that anyway, why not formalize that? Come and learn how it's actually done from some of the fine experts that we have in that particular area. And our programs will allow you to take full advantage of all the rewards of cultural and creative industries. But it also gives you an opportunity to make a contribution to the development of your nation through the cultural and creative industries. Some of our courses include music festival and events, music business management, and so on. Dance hall, Caribbean film, entertainment, media and culture, and public relations and entertainment, and so on. We also have a master's program for those of you who want to take it all the way, or those of you who have already got an undergraduate degree as young people. Many of you may have already have an undergraduate degree. I suggest to you that our programs are remarkable, and you can apply them in so many different ways. So I want to thank my research assistants, Deborah Brown and Silan Fong, who put together a lot of this information. And again, I want to say to you, think again. Think of the country you want to see. Think of the world you want to see. And think of how you, in creating culture, instead of the idleness, and you get up and you don't know what you want to do, and you go and you post this and you post that, and you trouble this person and you trouble that person. Spend that time when you sit down in front of the computer, or you hold on to the phone or the tablet, and you're going to create the content, and think to yourself, what is my pet project? What area of the sustainable development goals am I going to hold on to? And am I going to create a bit of content every day? And measure it to see what the responses are, how many people like it, how many people interested. And you never know, something may happen and you think to yourself, well, I was a part of this movement. And that's what I'm suggesting that you do. When you are thinking about cultural and creative industries in the way that I think about cultural and creative industries all the time, passionately, think about how you're going to make a difference. Think about where in the world it can take you to make a difference, and exactly how you're going to do that. I have a friend a colleague who just this week, she launched an education program. She had an idea, she put it together, and she went out and she got some assistance. And now she's doing partnerships, information exchange between the Caribbean and Asia about cultural and creative industries. It's an organization called South Collective. And I'm suggesting to you that you can take your ideas, take your dreams, and make them into something. But not only just anything. It's not just about an economic agenda. It's about making a difference in the world. And you can do it one click at a time. Join us at the Institute of Caribbean Studies, and we can help to train you. We can help to get you there in a way that makes you proficient and makes you an expert in that area eventually. And you'll certainly be taught by people who are already experts in that area. So come and join us. The thing have a buzz. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful conference. And thank you so much for having me today. It's really been a wonderful experience. Thanks a lot. Bye.